All right, welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 106. Mind playing tricks on me. And we're back. Fellas. What's good? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, CB, you're on mute.
You're mute.
Oh.
The trouble that I've had trying to connect to the internet is ridiculous because I'm like, we're always connected to the internet. What do you mean?
Right.
So
And you're in a different location.
yeah, no, I literally had to move where I was from, like where I was at. So here we are. We're here. It's Thursday. We're chopping it up.
Exactly. E, what's good, bro?
Man, ain't much, man. Just glad to be here. It seems like these Thursdays is definitely running pretty fast nowadays. So I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. I see you guys this often.
Man, look, we halfway through the year. Like the second half is here, and pretty soon. I've always said that once July hits, it seems like Thanksgiving, and then after Thanksgiving, boom, like Christmas. Then we're back at it again, and then we're realizing the shit that we didn't do that we said we were gonna do the year before. Eventually, somebody's got to do something, right? I don't even know where I want to start. Like I talked to CB earlier this week, and like I'm at the point in my life where there's like random aches and pains and injuries, right? So Wednesday, so Tuesday night, I got on from the gym, and my left knee was sore. It's like, okay, well, maybe I overdid it, just low impact, but still, maybe I just killed it too much on elliptical. I did go up in resistance. Okay. So Wednesday, I woke up, and actually, no, it was Monday. So Tuesday was when I woke up, and it was still a little sore, but whatever. Went to the gym Tuesday night. Yesterday, I was out of commission. Felt like my kneecap was broke, had hairline fracture, felt like everything in the world was wrong with me. Could barely walk. Like the sleep I had the night before was miserable because like I tried to elevate my leg to let it rest and nothing. So I had the ice yesterday, anti-inflammatory, and just rest. Skip gym day, and then today I feel like a brand new man. So I don't know. Like there was no explanation for what that pain was. Like what happened. It was just there and then gone. Like, welcome to almost 40, I guess.
Take those dubs where you can, bro.
Exactly. You know what? And I'm just glad it was a long-term thing. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is a serious. So tomorrow, I can go to the gym, and I can feel good about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Because right now, like, I'm good. I can walk steps without hobbling around. So whatever. Let's see. We got some comments in here. Oh, what's good? Hey, Kaleo. All right. Kutapo says first. Sean Xavier. What's E? Shout out to Sean Xavier. E, you was on the Hot Seat podcast that premiered today. How was it chopping up with the fellas?
Oh man, it was good, man. Some good convo. I got in when they were talking about the finals, and they have another individual over there that unfortunately
good, brother.
Unfortunately, he holds the same name as I do, but he has an affinity for the other. He has an affinity for the Suns, and he was just really expressing his admiration that the Suns were in the finals and the Lakers weren't. So, but definitely go check out that podcast because some good content on there. But it was always good to chop it over with those fellas over there.
Always. All right, fellas, let's get to it. Abigail Elphick. Does that ring a bell? Does anybody know who Abigail Elphick is? Let's just check the comments. Sean is there's Sean right there. What's good, brother? Abigail Elphick. Okay, if you don't know who Abigail Elphick is, I'm gonna just show you some images, and maybe you'll know who this is. Victoria's Secret Karen.
Jesus.
Also known as. And you can tell by these images here that something happened. And you only see one person for the most part in this. You don't see anybody else. But yeah. So, Abigail Elphick. Victoria's Secret Karen. The video picks up where at this point I don't know who the young lady that was filming it. Picks up where you see Abigail or Victoria's Secret Karen charging at this young lady, uh, like she's gonna swing on her. She may had already swung on her from where the video picks up, and then you see Abigail yelling back and forth at her, and she realizes she's being recorded. And then from there, it's all out like 2-year-old tantrum on the floor. Like she is, and I don't know. I don't know if there was a mental breakdown, if this was mental health issues going on here, or if this was like, okay, well, let me use some of this privilege that I have and shed some tears, and maybe I can get myself out of this. But fellas, what's your take on this before I go back around? I'll start with you. You like you got something to say?
I mean, what? At this point, it's comical. You know what I mean? It's laughable. You know what I'm saying? Probably one of the better like C-list performances a Karen can definitely put together. We probably should do like a show of strictly just breaking down the different Karen performances and rating them as they have gone about their day. But
some film study.
Exactly. Yeah, film study. But it's just trash, man. You talking about, you want to hope that this lady actually has some type of situation going on with her, but you ultimately knew that when it kept progressing that she knew what she was doing and there was nothing that was going to happen to her. She knew that she was going to walk out of there with no issues. Worst case scenario, they was going to tell her, finish your day, finish shopping.
Privilege tears.
Yeah, finish your shopping, and then we'll have her just kind of stay over here so you can finish your shopping, and then after that we'll let her go her way, or we'll escort you to your car. Stuff like that.
CB, what's up with this lady right here?
That video was actually really hard for me to watch, like to get through. Like it was so cringy, like to watch it. Like I was telling one of my buddies in one of the group chats that like as a human being, I feel embarrassed. Like if the aliens invaded Earth and this was the first video that they ever saw, they might just turn around and leave and be like, nah, fuck it, man. Like we're not dealing with this, so it's another week, it's another one of these situations, and like it's just embarrassing, man. It's ridiculous.
Right. I feel and another part of it, so the video goes on for like 10 minutes, right? And another part of the video, so finally police officers show up and you see the lady that's recording, she's having a conversation with the police officer, and he's saying, well, we can't force her to leave the mall. That's not our jurisdiction. Really? So if somebody gets shot at the mall, it's not your jurisdiction to handle that case? It falls on mall security? But anyway, so then you pan out and you see another officer interviewing Victoria's Secret Karen at this point, right? And along with the mall security, and they're still at this point, the lady's saying they're still not kicking her out. Like I want her put out. Like at this point, like this lady has been assaulted, right? The tides have turned. She is the one that has called the cops, because originally I guess Karen had called the cops on her for something, but whatever. And they didn't let this lady leave, right? And then so throughout the video, there's points where they're telling the lady, stop recording. You're causing her to act like this. She's like, stop recording. I am a black woman, and if this woman tells the story and lies and says that I did this, who are you going to believe first? Not me. We've seen that proof. But look, I tell you what. I don't know where Abigail is these days, but look, she's all over. She's viral. And, if this is what happens when you don't get your way, or when you get a little slap on the wrist, if this is what happens, God help us all. God help us all. All right, so let's go to this one. The baby. Now, the baby went viral this week for the video picks up where he's opening up his van or his bus, wherever he's on, and 2 kids are selling candy on the street. Now, we've all encountered the kids selling candy on the street. Most of the time, they tell you it's for school. Sometimes they earn his arms like, look, we're selling candy. And The baby asks the kids, what's, how much for the box? First kid, oh, for you, $200. $200. And he's like, how much is it per bag of candy? He's like, oh, that's like $2. How many's left in the box? It's like 38. And it's just like, so obviously these kids probably know who the baby is. If not, the chain he's wearing is definitely giving him away, or probably what he's riding in is giving him away. This guy has money. So let me jack the price all the way up to something that doesn't make sense to me, but it's probably second nature to him. Oh, I got you. He's going to give it out. But what does the baby do? No. And I feel weird calling a grown-ass man the baby. But what does he do? He buys one for the price of what they're selling it for to teach them a lesson that, hey, next time I come at you, when somebody comes at you like this, be honest. What it is, I was going to bless you regardless. But now you tried to get over on me. Doesn't matter how much money I have. You tried to get over on me. Well, now you know what? I don't have to support in the beginning, in the first place. So was he wrong or right in this? What's your take on this? We'll start with you, CB.
I had no problem with how he handled the situation personally. Growing up as kids, we do things like this, and sometimes you need to be taught a lesson that's gonna, probably help them out longer, in the long run, more than the extra money that they would have made if he had just, just paid the 200. But yeah, no, I mean, I didn't see any issues with it personally. It's one of those things where, he's really telling them to be honest in the future, be honest. And if they had been, they would have gotten the blessing that they were, trying to get over on.
Yep. E?
I mean, lucky your blessing was a moment ever captured. That was it, right? Because he told him, he said, I was going to bless you regardless. The fact that you gonna play me because I got money. But somebody, I think it was the Breakfast Club that talked about it. And it's like, funny enough, but that's what happens in different places. You move to a different place, they charge you differently because you move to a different location. But you charging them one price, but because now I moved over here, you're gonna start charging me another price, or everybody knows what that comes with. And hell, old school, when I was promoting, at the clubs, the club would say, oh, because so-and-so coming through, you're going to have to pay this extra. Like any other time, ain't nobody in here, but you're going to charge me extra now because this fool's in here. You know what I mean? And it's like, ain't nothing changed. They not performing. They just sitting in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at what point in time do we get to that level of taking advantage of people just because we think they have it, or even if we know that they have it, compared to, like you said, the honesty that comes around with it, that then garnish like a true blessing from somebody without you trying to dictate how the blessing is going to come to you.
Absolutely. And in this case, I feel like he was absolutely right. I mean, and then I think Soldier Boy did a video of trying to show him what he should have done, and it says, well, who cares about Soldier Boy? First of all, look, you can't count my dollars, my pockets, and tell me how I can spend my money, right? Because it's just like you said, we dealt with this encounter recently, going to a tobacco store, right? One tobacco store has your hookah for your shisha, same, what they both have the same amount, same product. One is $3, the other one is $2.50, right? Well, I go to this guy. Well, the guy down here is a $2.50. I can easily go here, but I'm gonna patron your store. Well, go down there if you want to. All right, that's when I'm gonna take my dollar. But just you're on the same block. It's the same thing. Don't tell me don't count my dollars. Don't tell me how to spend my money. I have that option of where I want to spend it. So this is a lesson learned. So maybe next time, look, they made a profit. First of all, be happy with the $2 that you made, because he still could have walked away, right? But I see a lot of people trying to come down on him, saying that he should have, he has the money, he should have tried to give back. Give back to what? He's not entitled. He doesn't have to, give money back to these kids.
Bro, my bad. People say that because people ain't in their pockets, because they know they ain't got no pockets to be in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what goes to show. Like, people that make comments about somebody and how they spend their money is flat out ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what's best for that person or how they need to spend their money. But then as soon as somebody gives you a suggestion or idea, you quick to call them out and say that they ain't shit for that. So get out of here.
He's not obligated to give his money away. And it's just like having if you got everybody's got a rich relative, and when somebody needs something or they need some paper, they reach out to that. I'm not obligated. I made this. This is my money. So I mean, whatever. I just lesson learned. Now let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about some good news. Candace Parker is the first woman on NBA 2K. She be on was this 2K22 we're on now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Candace Parker is one of 6 covers, I believe, on this anniversary edition of NBA 2K. First woman, big shout out to her. That is huge because I mean, this is just the beginning. Like she said, she's glad to be the first, but hopefully she's not the last. All right. How do you guys feel about that? Let's start with you.
Nah, that's a good look. She's definitely put in the work. You talk about people who've been on the cover of these games are people that have put in the work. You know what I mean? The right way. They didn't cheat the game. They didn't do anything that would have made people say this is publicity stunt just to put somebody on the cover. You put somebody on a cover because they got the pedigree for it and what comes behind their work ethic. And like I said, she definitely is deserving of it. And I saw the other 6 too. Like they're crazy. Like it's a hell of a lineup to be a part of. Period. You know what I'm saying with anybody. So, but for her to grace the cover of it in that manner, especially with her going back home to Chicago. Although I would have liked for it to be when she was with the Sparks, but again, it is what it is.
And she's killing it in Chicago.
Definitely well deserved. And it kind of carries over from the other week when we were talking about how Jordan now has like their largest lineup of female ambassadors and everything. It's just awesome that we're seeing more advancement for the ladies. We know that it's been a long time coming and we still got a long way to go. But this is well deserved, and like we've been saying, hopefully it's just the beginning.
Absolutely. And Quintuple, that's Madden that has the curse. In which, let's talk about. I don't have a graphic for Madden. There was no need to bring Madden into this. But we have a dual cover of Tom Brady and Pat Mahomes for this coming up Madden. Now, how many times can you put Tom Brady on the front cover of Madden? Like, there's plenty of other guys. And it could have just easily been Pat Mahomes by himself. You don't need Tom Brady on the cover, but that's my 2 cents for that.
Listen, if the man is still Thanos of the league and got all the damn Infinity Stones, all them damn rings he can be on the cover of any damn. Put him on the cover of NCAA with him in Michigan, and nobody's still gonna be like, nah. Just because of like where he came from. Like nobody gave this dude a shot. And like I said, I think it's dope that they show his combine, like the way he looked when he was at the combine. Like, what? Yeah. Compared to everybody else who's like more of a physique or like came out as if like it was a look. He put, like I said, at the end of the day, us on here and anybody else who watches us, right? We value the athletes that put the work in, right? Because those are the ones that Absolutely. From all of us that play sports, you know what I'm saying? You take hold to that a little bit better than the ones that are out there cheating the game for no damn reason whatsoever. And they still don't win, aka McGregor.
Oh boy. Let's talk about breaking news. Now, this is news that nobody is really going to give a shit about. Nobody is going to give a shit news. I'm going to leave that up there for a couple years to figure it out. But again, nobody's going to give a shit about this news. And let's just lead off with this.
Well, when you look at what the black community has been through, go all the way back to slavery. It was the family, the strong family units, and the faith in God that got people through that. That got people through Jim Crow, through severe segregation, through all the difficulties. But what really had a negative impact was when the government came along and said, there, you poor little thing. I'm going to take care of all your needs, and started implementing policies that were destructive to family formation. Those are the things that have hurt the Black community.
Again, nobody's going to give a shit. These two people right here. That was Ben Carson, for those who don't know. At one point, world-renowned Ben Carson, Dr. Ben Carson. Now this guy is, it just, CB, you sure those aliens aren't here? Because it definitely seems like, seems like somebody has taken over this guy's body. And did you see, sound like he was struggling for words. I don't know. So, welfare hurt the Black community more than slavery. That's kind of the gist of what I got from that video. So that's Ben Carson. I couldn't find a good clip of the other nobody's going to give a shit. That's Ty Smith, and he's passionate this week about. He said America wasn't founded on racism. These are his words. America wasn't founded on racism. Slavery is. Well, he said slavery was going on, but race wasn't a thing. Slavery was going on everywhere. Okay. These are the opinions of the two gentlemen that I had up here. I don't know where to start or who to start with about these opinions about slavery and the Black community. And mind you, both of these interviews were Fox News interviews. You got something to say.
Leave it like this. This is. I feel like we're on first take, and this is
Hold on, wait a minute. I don't want CB to know because it look like we're coming down hard on the white man. Let's put CB on that.
That is hilarious. No, I mean, listen, man, come on. Nobody's been listening to Ben Carson since never, right? Everything that spews out of that dude's mouth is definitely is utterly garbage, hot garbage at that. But let's get something straight. The reason why that they say these things that they say is because they've been conditioned to believe that it was only by somebody else or by the Black account the reason why they have never been able to overcome anything, right? Mm-hmm. So you notice the onus is on somebody within the group allow that to be the thing, right? So the blame is, but because you complain so much and we put these policies in place is the reason why you're not winning. Or historically this is not true because it was happening everywhere else. And I'm thinking, like, go down the line of history. I feel like they're the type that reads the first half of the sentence but doesn't finish the rest of it because they know that if you finish the rest of it is going to negate what they thought, that they were going to say that was going to prove their point. And let's just be honest. Yes, we all know slavery has been happening since the age of time. It's a matter of not only race, but it was classism, right? And that's where it stems from. So when you then break that down even further, you realize where that comes from. And then if you can understand 1 + 1 = 2, if there is a lower class, regardless of skin color or not, that is who we are going to now utilize to make us better than anybody else. It's just that easy. So, yeah, shout out to anybody who knocks either one upside their head for it.
CB, you got a crack at it?
I mean, it's just idiotic to hear, to think that race doesn't have anything to do with it, like. It just is by coincidence that all the slaves look one way and all the people that are in charge look another way. Like, okay.
I was say, last time I checked, there wasn't no famous white slaves out there.
Right. Except for the one that they would cast Tom Cruise to play in. You know what I mean? So, you know, like E was saying, we haven't been paying attention to Ben Carson since he left, you know, the surgeon's table and everything. Like he's it's just a show at this point. There was definitely some sense of Candace Owens. You could kind of get that. Like it's just it enables the people on the other side, you know, to be like, oh shit, well look, those like Ben Carson, he's black and he says this, so you know that reinforces my feelings. And it's like, God damn it, dog.
All of the above. They've all
Right.
played. They've all played some random character that definitely was not who they should have been.
You know. But yeah, that's it.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys. I mean, and that goes back, and I'll throw Kanye into this too. The slavery was a choice. Like all these are shtick. It's all shtick, right? You know, it's attention. It's what can I say? And again, at the end of the day, the only people they're hurting are the people when they look in the mirror, they're hurting themselves because you're still black, and then you're hurting anybody that looks like you with you know thoughts like Jason Whitlock as well. Those I gotta come down hard on. It's easier to come down hard on the people that I look like than to fight against the people that don't look like me that are causing the real issues most of the time.
They pay his check, and that's what that's the puppet master to them, right? Like you pay me, I'll go out there and I'll discredit anything that my people have done the right way. And again, I feel like we've gotten to that era, right? Like I think we've had the conversation before of personal attacks and character attacks compared to what's actually true. Like, you know, like what's really, you know, the fact of the matter is, and it's just a social media thing, but social media / media, right? And not just social, is that it tears apart what initially was things on TV used to be on a positive note. The news used to be the only thing that nobody really wanted to watch because it was trash. It was everything on the news was negative. Like, oh, this person got shot. It was this happened over here. This person over here. This whole dog kennel, you know what I'm saying, has been neglecting dogs and shit like that. That was the negative thing. Nobody wanted to watch the news because the news was the negative thing. Then all of a sudden, people started getting hit like, damn, well, we can have this on a regular basis, on a regular show. Trashing people.
A lot of it is self-hate. People who love themselves love their people, and vice versa. Absolutely. It's a mentality. Like I don't have, you know, I've been beat over the head so much telling me how far I can go that I don't think I can do anything more. And an easier thing to do is, all right, well, I'm getting a check, so let me come down on some of the people who look like me because it's a lot easier. I can take criticism from E because what does E have to offer me? E is not where I'm trying to be at on the next tier. He can only, he's my equal. So I don't care what he has to say. But, you know, CB, on the other hand, well, CB has a little bit more access. Let me tap dance for CB a little bit to get some of that access. Because I want that privilege. I want to be able to cry those privilege tears and get away with some things. Okay. CB's just an example. I'm not really, these aren't my feelings about CB. This is just an example. He's the only white, then you know what? He's the only person that doesn't look like me and E on this podcast at the time. So
he's still getting out the car if we get pulled over, though.
Exactly. Yeah, CB is the spokesman. CB is the spokesman. Why do we keep CB? Because he is the spokesman for us. Like if you need somebody to talk to the cops, you get CB to do it, and we're getting out the situation.
We can only hope. It depends on if I'm driving that Altima or not.
Exactly. How do you get to First Street? Easy, buddy. You're on First Street. What we got here? Okay. Mars, what you got here? Service is hard. Okay. Well, this is true. Daniel, what's good? Welcome to the show.
Yo, yo, yo.
I'm going to bring up the Ultima. Well, you know, CB, look, the Ultima kept, you know, brought CB back down to to another. He knows what it feels like just for a couple minutes. It's like, wow, oh my god, this is what. No, I'm joking. All right, and then this happened this week too. So I think we're finally getting, I think, a verses that everybody was asking for. Everybody wanted to see the Locks, and everybody wanted to see if Dipset could come together for a reunion. We knew the reunion had happened with Dipset kind of behind the scenes for a while. You know, we knew they were back together doing things, and the Locks had always been creating music. So it's only right you have a verses with, I guess, probably one of the two probably most pivotal groups when it comes to rap, like in factions and units in the rap game. I think this is a very good one because we know Jada had the bigger career out of all the Locks, and we know out of the Dipset. I mean, there's Cam probably had the bigger career because Cam was Cam before they got together. Jim became Jim after Cam and them joined up, and Jewels was just Jewel, you know. So
yeah, but not to cut you off, but don't you think Jim's run solo was better than Cam's run solo?
I didn't say better run. I was just saying the name. Cam
no,
was kind of Cam was the name. So it'd be interesting to see, you know, what we're going to get out of this. I don't. My hopes aren't high, but I'm excited.
This your hope should be high for this one. Not that other, not Soldier Boy and whoever Bow Wow. None of that bullshit. This right here, this is the hip hop class that these young ones need to take note of, right? I mean, you talk about on this level. You're talking about all facets of, like, from lyricism to production to stage presence to, you know what I mean, like the fact that you have to hold your own, knowing that your counterparts are hard, you know, are lyrically like that as well. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Jim got better throughout the years, which made Jewels and Cam still be dope. You know what I'm saying? Sheik Luch is one that typically people don't even mess with, but at the same time, you know, Sheik Luch is somebody that people a lot of times sleep on. But if you hear, he got better over time with his verses, because clearly Styles and Jada are just who are, you know, they are who they are. But and this is done at, they're gonna have it at the Garden. Like this is going to be a concert.
Out of the pandemic. We've gone from a virtual Instagram kind of, you know, let's log in and watch from studios or watch Teddy Riley overdo it. We need to really be thanking Teddy Riley for this type of formatting, because he was the one. He didn't do it right, but he was the one that showed you what you could do with it. Again, he didn't do it right, but he was on to something. CB, what you got?
I'm pumped for this one. Like, it's actually been a number of verses in like a row where I've just been like, you know, I don't need to watch the entire thing. You know, I can tune in every so often and just see what's going on, read the comments, you know. But this one I'm pumped for, because, you know, Jada specifically is just one of my favorites of all time. So the fact that he's gonna, you know, be on there, have his time, and I'll be interested to see. I want to see the rosters that are coming out. You know what I mean? Like, are there going to be people that aren't with him? Are there going to be, you know, like, you know, just some of that stuff?
I would love for the Locks to bring out Mace from the bad boy days.
Right.
Just have Mace do something. We'll get into diss tracks in a second. But yeah, Teddy versus Babyface. I would love to see them on this platform. This what they're doing now, because you get some of that musicianship. But once they finally got it together and they went live from the studio, we got a good sound quality. But yeah. I would love a Teddy Babyface redo, and I would love a Jill Scott and Erykah Badu redo. But I think who wins this one? I mean, everybody's like, well, the fans win. But who has the big? The Locks Bad Boy run, I think, was probably underrated because it was surrounded by shiny suits. A lot of people look at that, but then when their Rough Riders run was ridiculous, but their underground run, like they've had a major run. Now with Dipset, we know Cam did solo, and I think Cam he's one of those people who evolved too. He got better over time as well. But I like a lot of Cam's earlier stuff too. I don't know who has because individually, like you said, Dipset probably has the stronger tracks individually, because they all, between Jim and Cam and some of Jewels, they've had successful individual careers. The Locks, Sheik had a okay run. Styles had a decent run, but Jada was the one that was on fire, right? So who wins this one? If you
Well,
keep it at a group element, as a producer, I'm going to say Dipset had the harder records. But
well,
lyricism, the Locks gave you hard body lyrics.
oh, without question. But I remember this was a while back. I think Jim had made the comment based upon it being an equal value, right? As far as members.
Joe versus Case.
5, 5, 5, and then your last 5 is the actual group 5. So Sheik has his 5 against whoever, whether you put Santana or you put up against Jones, right? Then you have Cameron, you got Kiss. Then the last 5 is strictly just the crew, which at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel like diplomatic immunity in itself is enough.
Pull about the Averett. Yep. Look, that album they have a Rockefeller with Just Blaze all over it. But I'm ready on there.
And as soon as Cam comes out with the pink anything, it's a wrap. Cam is about to go in his bag. And I'm just thinking, so as far as Santana's when he finally came out with I Can't Feel My Face with Wayne, that in itself, I think, is what set him over, because again, he really his solo album was cool, but because they was really trying to feature him more so towards the end of whatever joint projects that they had, was to get him ready to go up next. So,
I mean, and let's look at it this way: Jada is probably leaving Timbaland and Swiss out. Jada is the only one to do 2 thus far, 2 verses. So he's already done his solo stuff. We probably won't get a lot of Jada solo stuff. They might throw it back in there. But, I mean, Cam's got a fully loaded weapon by himself. I mean, from Horse and Carriage, even him and Mace, he probably won't do that because Mace is on it. But that was a hit for him. What Mean the World to You is probably one of my biggest Cam records. Then what was the
do
one
you think they're going to be doing the individual records, or do you think it's going to be strictly like the group stuff?
They might throw something in there, I think. I mean, what's interesting is, and this is kind of sticking with the groups, the hardest, if you do group elements, the hardest group to battle, does anybody know the answer to that? I mean, this is opinionated, but I'm pretty sure it's factual. The hardest group to battle.
Wu-Tang.
That's a good one. I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't really thinking about Wu-Tang.
Because you got too
would
many
fucking hard to battle.
Yeah, because you got too many individuals that held their own.
I was thinking New Edition. They got some weapons too, but I wasn't thinking Wu-Tang versus New Edition would be a good one.
You're sleepy.
I was expecting him to say Slaughterhouse or
right.
Anything.
Let's address Educated Queen real quick. Joe, I was serious about Joe and Case. About Joe and Carl Thomas.
Not enough hits.
So who would you pin Joe against?
Joe against Montel Jordan. Or Donnell Jones.
Maybe Donnell Jones. Donnell Jones is a good one because Montel only had 2 hits. 3 maybe.
He had more than 3 hits. Stop that.
This Is How We Do It, Something for the Honeys, and then
Something for the Honey wasn't even a hit like that. You had
those only 3 songs I know about Montel. What was name something else outside of Montel.
You had what is it? Girl Tonight. You had
that's the third one. That was the third one. Something for the Honeys, Girl Tonight, and that was
no. But again, if he plays it the way it is, he wrote damn near everybody else's track though.
Avant. Okay.
Yeah,
Montel. Yeah, Montel wrote Incomplete. I mean, that's a big record.
I mean, he wrote Deborah Cox. Nobody's supposed to be here. He wrote a lot of jams.
That's right. 4. You're right. No, you take Something for the Honeys off of it. It's still 3.
First of all, who was that said that?
That's Nelman. That was a dope ass track.
Listen, Silk the Shocker made that the worst track possible that he could have ever came up with.
Stop in his verse.
P's verse wasn't all that. Peace verse wasn't all that great, no way.
Joe had Every's 90 cents. He did. You're absolutely right. I mean,
the only reason why y'all like Joe is because, like I said, he had like one or two, he had 3 cuts that just happened to be in that pocket.
I'm with you, E. I'm with you. I'm telling Roya thinks Joe is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Negative.
And I'm not. Look, I can count maybe 3 Joe hits, maybe 4. So I don't know. Joe doesn't get a whole 20. He doesn't have 20 songs. He's got to be the he's the pre-versus battle where you give me about 5, and then we, E, please hush.
Joe's the opening act for Avant.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Did you know you see Carl Thomas, Darnell Jones, and Dave Hollis started a group? They left Joe's ass out of it
for a reason.
Yeah. Stutter with Mystical. You're right. Okay, 4. We have 4 now. I'll add that one. Stutter was pretty dope. Anyways, okay, that's less rap. Okay, so he gave us some homework this week. He hit me and CB in the chat, and he was like, "Yo, let's do battle records. Top 5 battle records, East versus West." So, I like this view better. Let's East versus West. So me and CB have paired up to give you the top 5 East Coast diss records that we could think of. And we'll tell you our mainstream of thinking why we picked the songs we did. And E came up with West Coast. Now, there are a couple honorable mentions in there because there are some classic ones we just couldn't fit on the list because it didn't make sense with what we were trying to do. But this has been a homework. Now I'm gonna hit him up. And I'm okay. Now, I mean, we'll see where that is. I'm done with y'all. I'm gonna watch Big Brother.
Good night, Roya.
Good night. R. Kelly ruined his career. I may have to watch that. Okay. R. Kelly be a really hard versus battle too.
Yeah, because he's in jail. How are you gonna do that?
Just look, you're right. Okay, so let's kick this off. I thought I put the honorable mentions on here somewhere.
Let the comments be as biased as possible. Sean, appreciate you for joining. I hope some of the homies is on because I gave y'all the heads up. This was gonna be 2 versus 1. You dig?
And me and CB kind of see how it was hard because by far I'm gonna make this statement. East Coast has the bigger and better diss tracks because none of them could always get along. East Coast was always beefing with each other, so there's always a battle going on the East Coast because hip hop was started off of the battle. That's why there's so many. So okay, we'll start off. E, you start. This was your idea. So let's start off with your honorable mentions. E.
So
let me put you in your light. Let me put you in your. Go ahead.
I don't know what order you going. Did you do both honorable mentions or just one?
I gave you both your honorable mentions.
Oh, so honorable mention. I got Game, Pest Control, and then DJ Quick Dollars and Cents. Now understand this. First of all, here's my reasoning or my criteria. Right.
Sean, what did I say? Put it in the chat. My comment about East Coast having stronger battle records than West. if that's the case, if that's right, give me a thumbs up because I'm gonna prove to you.
Or you could just log off because you know that everything that he's saying is just garbage. Anyway, here's the criteria that I think changed the landscape from East Coast to West Coast when it came to a diss record. Is the simple fact is that a diss record that is street hits one way. A diss record that they play in the club that you gotta hear hits extremely different because now it becomes a radio play song and not just some stuff you gotta go listen to like on a special, like not a special CD, but like back in the day, you'd have to go play a certain number on whatever track, on whatever album to hear that diss. That was how I felt East Coast was. Like, their disses stayed within that. Hit 'Em Up was on the radio. Like, on a regular basis, right? So you're talking about a diss track that now has, and again, they said it about Drake's back to back, right? They were dancing to him dissing somebody else. That hits different.
It also depends on the artist too.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but what I'm saying is that the landscape changed from when, because it became more outside of just the normal hip hop head, was that the people that was in the club that didn't know or wasn't thinking about that type are dancing to a song that this dude is literally going at this dude and just calling him for dirt, and they're partying to it. That's even worse.
If the beat is hot, anybody gonna dance to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just because your beat is hard don't mean that the words match. So again, so hold on,
Yin
listen.
Yang Twins, to the window, to the wall. Like what? I mean, but
I get it, but listen. Pest Control, because Game is one of, like I said, it's still one of the underrated lyricists that are out there. Pest Control was one of the dopest diss tracks to put on, just period, right? And then of course DJ Quick, you know what I'm saying? That was just a whole onslaught of, and now and other than Game and Meek, which is clearly a coastal thing, Quick and MC8 was down the street from each other. Like that was a right around the corner diss.
When have you known niggas from Cali to get along? Same thing with New York. I mean, it's the same, being the same hood, and
that was, well, there was some color barriers that dealt with that as well. But exactly. that's a little bit more detail. That's a whole nother show.
All right, so for me, it's the East Coast representatives. Honorable mention. CB, I did add one more to keep up with his too, but it was one that was on the list. Okay. Anyway, so our honorable mentions: LL, Mama Said Knock You Out, which is the final blow to the Kumo D kind of saga he had. Jay-Z, Dear Summer, because that was a dope record. It was smooth. It was a groove. It was a game diss. So now our way of thinking for these battle records are, because there's a lot that predates us before we even got into hip hop or before we even born, huge battle records. So I wouldn't want to put The Bridges Over, and I wasn't conscious of hip hop then, because that wasn't in me and CB's realm then. That wasn't our beef.
Right.
So, but LL, Mama Said Knock, like you can't have a top 5 diss record or whatever without mentioning LL, because LL is undefeated when it comes to battling. So, all right, let's get through this. All right, E, what we got right here? What about the Jay-Z, the Mace? I mean, that was another one. It didn't come up on the list, but there's a lot to choose from here.
So, we were joking that we could have had 20 honorable mentions. Like,
absolutely.
You know, there's
we kept it.
You could mix the list up in so many ways.
Yep. All right, E, what's your number 5?
I believe my number 5 got posted. Corrupt. Again, somebody who clearly does not get the acclaim that he should because of the group that he was with, right? Mm-hmm. But let's just make it clear, how many people was calling out DMX's name?
That's true. I mean,
and spelled it out for him. If you listen to the dish, he spelled it out. That's why it says calling out names. And he just, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, what's behind this, around that time, there's more to it than, what's on surface value. But for me, when you talk about a West Coast representative that's going to promote it, like to really go out a diss track, like he's not dissing Sheik Luch. You know what I'm saying? Like he's dissing DMX and the whole Murder Inc. Like, they were throwing bombs knowing that you had to really ruffle some feathers because again, you got to also remember this was right when that kind of that thing was starting to turn from not so much more East Coast than where the West Coast was starting to get more play than the East Coast was, because a lot of cats they just weren't making hits where it was coming out.
So me and CB are number 5. We decided to go with 50's Wanks, the Ja Rule diss. Now, obviously, it's number 5. To me, And I'll let CB give his side. To me, this was one of the first kind of 50 picking on Ja diss. I think it was more of a one-sided diss battle because Ja's responses never really clapped back, and then the New York record, they weren't as strong as 50 was on a roller coaster. His momentum was building, so anything he put out was going to catch fire anyway. And this is just kind of, I mean, this is number 5, so you can only imagine what's going to go from here. But I think it was strong enough to make top 5. Go ahead, CB.
Given the parameters that we kind of set for ourselves, trying to come up with some examples that were, more relevant for like, our lifetime and everything. I was in high school when this track came out, so there's just all of that comes with it, when music and everything during that period of your life like sticks with you. And so that beat, just whenever it comes on, it's like, yeah, well, this joint's about to crank. Like it's, and you're right, it was kind of like a one-sided diss, the way that it always looked. But 50 at the time, this was like, because Wanksta was right before he basically became the hottest dude that was out. Like, so it was like the precursor to all that, and it was like the end basically of Murder Inc. You know what I mean? Like, they changed their name and everything.
Yep. Alrighty.
Number 4 is only fitting that you got to have somebody that got to take out the bully, right? Who better than the game? First of all, 300 bars, I think, doesn't get enough respect on the diss track.
It is long as shit.
But for the amount of change ups that happened throughout that whole piece, like, he didn't fumble it at none. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when you talking about one person going up against the whole entire clique and addressing each one as you're doing it, like, to me, like I said, he checked off all the boxes, like, and was like, I got more. I really could have kept going, but I'll save it. And like I said, 300 bars is just it's underrated.
Okay. I mean, I've heard it. Me and you talking. I remember it because he constantly switches the beat up, and that's how I remembered it. Coming in for number 4, you can't have a battle without the classic "Who Shot You" by Biggie. When he fired at Pac. This was after Pac had got shot at the studio, and Pac was just on a revenge tip, and he had said that Puffy had him shot, or the attempted murder on him was done by Puffy. And so at this point, Biggie was at the point where he was, I guess, tired of just the back and forth, and he spit the "Who Shot You." I mean, one of the strongest. The Biggie and Pac beef was, I think, it was created by people outside of their camp, outside of Biggie and Pac themselves. The beef was so built up by people around them that all they probably had to do was be in the same room together, have a conversation, and we probably, at least one of these brothers would probably still be alive today. So it's a much stronger record than 4, but at the end of the day, like, the beef ended with both of these brothers losing their lives, at which could have been their, when they were pretty much in their prime. So, and I would love to see how it played out if given opportunity. I mean, this beef right here brought the East this is what really began the East versus West kind of hatred for one another at that point. It was tough. CB?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what was going on in rap and hip hop at the time, like, the East Coast was starting to have to take note of what was going on, out west. And you're right. Like, I do think that there was just so much else going around, like Biggie and Pac, with the producers and all everyone else that was involved. And like, we know that Biggie and Pac were friends, like they had a good relationship at one point. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where at the time, like, this is what introduced a lot of people to, what a beef was, what rap beef was and everything. So, I think that it would be, you could put this anywhere on the list and you could make an argument for it. So, yeah, I don't think anyone should be offended that it's at 4. We'll admit it could be higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, E.
You just put it up there. I don't need no preference. Like, just put it up there. Need I say more? Because everybody was listening to this song and everybody was jamming to it. And this was the precursor to 90s hip hop. Bottom line. This right here, this Dre Day, can be played any given time. And you know where you were at when you heard it the first time. That whole feel of that whole summer when this thing dropped was crazy.
In all fairness, like, I mean, that whole album was ridiculous. So, like, anything
understand,
that dropped from that album was just.
But understand, people clearly forgot because you're so in tune to the beat and just the fact that it's a party that you're rapping lyrics about dissing Luke and Eazy-E the whole time.
Right.
The whole entire song.
Another neighborhood beef.
Well, the Luke thing was definitely the Luke thing. I feel like and we should have prefaced this. The videos back then were what gave it even more so of that, because
the videos back then were crazy.
Yes, because it was everything was there was nothing that was off limits when it came to the videos. And they definitely showed that
look like him and everything. Sheesh.
That was the thing.
Internal getting plugged by another dude when during the verse when it came up for Luke. But yeah, I mean, I know E doesn't have it on his list, but the Easy response was kind of dope too. But yeah, I mean, again, two guys who, and I'll leave Luke out of this, but between Easy and Dre, two guys that grew up together. I mean, they pioneered NWA. At the end of the day, I mean, if you don't know the story, I mean, you've probably seen Straight Outta Compton at this point, or at least heard the story before that about their beef. But yeah, no, this was a good battle. Easy never really bounced back from it. I mean, solo career wise, but after that, I mean, Easy went on and found the Bone Thugs with Harmony, and he was on to another thing. I mean, he left the Dre thing alone. I mean, at this point, Dre had already discovered Snoop, and at this point, this one Snoop was on fire. Like, I mean, this is fresh, hungry Snoop. Where, yeah, dope. All right, see what we got. Number 3. This had to be on the list somewhere, right? Number 3 is Hov's Takeover. Nas this. Now, let's be clear. This was not the first shot Jay took at Nas on record, because Is That Your Chick? Is That Your Bitch? Whatever. There's 2 versions of it, by the way. It's the one where Hov just has the verse and it's Twista and Missy and Meek. Memphis Bleak. But then there's the actual version where Jay has the whole song to himself and he goes off. So, but both verses of that song, Jay is taking shots at Nas. Never says Nas' name on wax until the takeover, when he actually says Nas' name, which actually started or amplified the beef and made it more public than anything else. CB.
I mean, he also was taking shots at other people too.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, when we talk about beefs that stand out in our lifetime, like you think about Biggie and Tupac, and you also think about Jay-Z and Nas. So it wouldn't be a list if tracks from that beef were not included, and I mean, Kaleo, you laid out all the points perfectly for, why this one, why we chose this one. There could have been other Jay-Z tracks that we could have put. So,
real quick, let me address Nelman and the 4-3-2-1. And we actually back probably about 2 years ago, me and CB did top beefs, right? We did a whole show about what we thought the top beefs were back in the day. And LL Cool J and Candace was on my list, because I remember this beef started over L's tattoo. Like, 4-3-2-1 The original version, Cannabis had a different verse, and he was just paying homage to L. He was like, "Yo, L, that tat, let me borrow that." And L has the microphone with the crown and the four, that says 4 3 2 1. He's like, "Let me borrow that." L took it as a diss and wrote his verse. So LL Cool J's verse on 4 3 2 1 that features Cannabis is about cannabis. That's there. He's talking about the guy that's on the song with him. Then they supposedly hashed it out. He made Cannabis change his verse. He told Cannabis he was going to change his verse, and then didn't change it. And then from there, the beef happened. So that's a real interesting one. No respect to all you brothers. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, Super Ugly. Super Ugly. That one.
Yeah.
That got real ugly. That was Jay regrets doing Super Ugly.
But because didn't he do it? But didn't he do it at the?
Oh no.
East Coast wins again. But no, what happened with Super Ugly was Jay made the verse of "I left condoms on your baby seat." Yeah. And after he said "I left condoms on your baby," Jay's mom got involved. Was like, "No, you need to apologize to that man. No, don't bring in the kids."
But did he do Super Ugly on Hot 97?
Yeah, he premiered on Hot 97. He went on, had the interview, and then premiered the track right then and there. And it was a horrible track, first of all, because it was. I think he was so shook by what he was responding to, and we'll get into that soon. But let's talk about Super Ugly in a second. All righty, what you got for number 2? I mean, this is obvious. This is before you get into it. To me, I think this is probably one of the hard, if not this is probably the hardest West Coast diss record I've ever heard. Go ahead, E.
You said what I needed to say. When you talk about somebody coming off of a group that clearly you knew that they wrote all the shit minus minus one other person, right? You talk about, geez Louise, like there's no way you can't listen to this years later and still feel like he just did this shit yesterday. Like the impact of this song is crazy. You listen to this song when you know you feel a certain way about somebody, and that's just how you want them to know that that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is it. There's no ifs and buts about it. We ain't gotta draw no line in the sand. I just don't give two shits about you. I don't care for you no further than I can throw you. Like, this is where it's at with it. But Q, being the lyricist that he is, I feel like delivered this track something serious. And again, I'll be honest, this was a toss up between 1 and 2 for me, because the impact of this one.
I thought it was going to get number 1. I thought they were going to flip roles.
It had potential.
Yeah, this is again neighborhood beef. These dudes that grew up with each other.
Right.
Yeah, no, this was one of my favorite scenes from Straight Outta Compton when Cube's son, he's a junior, right? Yeah, when he played the hell out of the role of his dad, and they premiered the song in the movie. But yeah, again, this is a dope ass record. If you
the title of the song says it all. You know, like it. That's it.
Sean, that I battled with even mentioning that. There's a lot of other, and then Common Chicago, right? So he gave me shit about mentioning Eminem, and okay, fine.
Listen, don't downplay it. And Sean, the reason why I said that is because you can play, because again, if we're gonna do that, then it should have been an updated version of beefs between different, like the two sides, right? And then just said who won, whatever, right? Common did have the beef with Cube, but Common also got completely murdered by Drake in the scheming verse that he had with Rick Ross, because of that Serena Williams stuff. So like that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't want, like, if we go for that, which we'll do later on, that we can do, like, out of the two, or here are the songs that came out of the beefs, who won the beef. You know what I'm saying? Like, But again, there's too many people because we're not touching on Jeezy and Gucci or anybody else. Like we had to stay away from the South. Like just keep it where we're at, and that'll just be fair
Gucci and
lines.
Ti had their run too, but number two for us might be a surprise the most because I think some people may have forgotten this one. And I remember me and CB we were doing the show of Superfly's house, and we
Yeah.
like made sure we were like, oh shit, he responded. Like this beef was heating up, and this is the story of Added On. Like first of all, look, we know that Pusha and Drake had their beef, um, and this was pretty much the response to. I can't think of the song Drake did, but he mentioned Pusha T's fiance at the time's
Yeah.
name, and from there it wasn't even. I don't think it was 24 hours. May have been maybe 24 hours, maybe a tad more before we got story of Added On. And let me tell you why this song meets number two. It could easily be number one, but number one is number one. But this song right here made the man. At this point, Drake was kind of untouchable. He was riding off the back-to-back high, beating Meek. First of all, Meek ain't shit in the battle. Let's be honest. Meek, a beef with Meek is not a beef with Pusha.
No.
Facts.
No.
Facts.
And
Any hip hop head knows that.
Pusha put that to wax because Drake had to change his whole album after this track. Drake's whole album is changed. This is facts. This is what happens. Not only did that happen, Pusha T outs a mystery child that Drake has. No one really knew about. How the hell do you have that classified information? 3, on top of that, he ruins Drake's Adidas run that was getting ready to happen. Drake is now back with Nike. Like, and then that even the worst part, I mean, he went after OVO, who's sick. I mean, it was no cut cards. Amazing track. This is pure hip hop. People live to tell his story. No one died off of this beef. But my God, like, Jay Prince had to get involved, tell Drake to stop because this man has no cut cards. And Pusha was gearing up. Pusha said, "This is only volume 1 of the summer that's getting ready to happen to you."
I'm not gonna lie to you before I let you go. I still feel like Drake should have just went ahead and released this shit that he had that Prince said that he heard it and he was like,
that was just hype.
Nah.
Drake a battle rap? Come on now.
Now listen. But what the reason why I say that is because they both had already started punching way below the belt, right? That I feel like if you look at it at that moment, first of all, what does Jay Prince have to? What does he win by telling Drake not to put out that track? But listen, Drake's following in Houston, right? Alone. Why don't you think that that he wouldn't have dropped that track?
But what does he have to lose if Drake takes the L?
No,
that's the case.
He don't have to lose nothing because he's Jay Prince. First of all, he is Houston. He is the South. So Drake losing a battle didn't do it, which everybody clearly says that he lost to Pusha T. Like we all agree to that, right? He didn't.
He never responded.
Right. He didn't lose out though.
That was the end.
Exactly. Jay Prince saved Drake from himself. Drake's career wouldn't have been over, but Pusha was just gearing up. If this was just on the first, if Pusha gave you all this on this first track and said he had more in the chamber.
What I'm saying is, Drake is at least that type of artist, right? That at the end of the day, he welcomes the challenge, right? Who else and he said it, like, I've been gearing up for somebody to come at me. So if you finally get somebody that's actually gonna make you sharpen your skills, right? Why not? That's what we talked about with either sports people or the musicians, right? That pass away, right? We don't really know if we got all of the greatness out of them because of certain things that probably, got in the way of that. And again, they weren't about to shoot nobody. This is Drake. Like, he sings. You know what I'm saying? He's singing after this diss track. Like, he's going to sing.
Obviously, Jay Prince didn't have to convince him that hard not to go for the next round.
Right.
Because if I'm hearing this and I got something ready to go, I don't care what anybody's telling me. I have to respond to this. It was like, oh no, don't do it, don't jump. Okay, he was waiting for somebody to interfere, tell him not to do it. That's my go ahead, CB. We've been talking over you. Go ahead, CB. What's your take?
No, I mean it's wild because what made it so much bigger was at the time it really had felt like Drake had never lost. You know, like it also felt like he was kind of can crushing because Drake gets into beefs with guys that you know can't out rap him. So this is the first instance where, and that's the thing, this wasn't a beef that he started. You know, he got roped into this down the line, and you know he's sticking up for the team and everything. So now he becomes a target, and Pusha T is not the man to fuck with. Like, you know, it is one of those things where I do believe that Drake really did not want to release like what it, because at this point now it's mythological. You know, it's Bigfoot, it's the Loch Ness monster. Like, oh, there's this track that he made that was going to be the follow-up, because you're not going to release, or you shouldn't be releasing a response that's worse than the song you're supposed to be responding to. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that track would have had to live up to after this. And it's when you just think of when you think of like a song actually having that much of an impact, like we're not talking about like someone losing their life, but we're talking about like dollars and cents impact, like to a different degree than just a normal beef would be. Like it's crazy for that.
Yeah.
Look, make no mistake about it. First of all, everybody should thank Kanye for being the dickhead that he is that created this beef, because that's where it came from. and Drake still drags Kanye to this day.
Yeah. Look, it's like they said, never fight an ugly person because they ain't got nothing to lose. Like on that end, like Drake was the only one that was gonna lose in this situation. There was no way Pusha could lose anything in this. We already know Pusha's story for the most part. Okay. E, what you got coming to number one?
We don't even have to talk about it. Everybody knows what number one is. And in actuality, the one thing I should have told you was that should not read that there should be more to it than just Biggie / Bad Boy. It should say everybody who ever spoke his name, because
You talk about Mobb Deep on there too.
He literally gave everybody the precursor to I got more in the tank. Pac ended up being what diss rap is now, the level that you throw your diss rap to, right? They build what your number one is off of this one.
Yeah.
Your number two was based off of this one. So, you know, yep, all of that. All of that. And the crazy part about it is like half the people that you put on here, he had issues with, if not all of them, right? LL, he had a problem with. He had a problem with the Fugees. He had a problem with everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you ever said his name and you came out wrong, he put you in a song. And let's just be honest. The difference, and I, like I said, I agree to your number one as far as the East Coast to this one on the West Coast is his pure aggression is what made this song to this day the hardest like diss track, because anybody else's diss track of them sounding angry would not have come across like this. Like, and then the video, like CB said, the video, the lookalikes, the fact that he took a beat that they had already used and made money off of, and he flipped it, and he said, I'm gonna show you that I can flip what you doing and do it even better, and dish you while I'm doing it.
Yep. No, absolutely. And our number one should be no surprise at this point, because if you already know, when you think East Coast beefs, you already got at least two songs that stood out when in the beef. And I'm gonna tell you, this one hurt my heart. Nas's Ether is definitely number one. I love Nas. I was a huge Nas fan. At this point, I was more on a J fan. But when I heard Ether, like it took a while for me to hear it, because at this point, everybody was. It just became like a thing that just got released, like because there was mixtapes. Like you really didn't have.
There was no
like
internet, you know.
Yeah, there was no. It wasn't popping like that to where I can YouTube it and it's right there. No, it was like you heard Nas Ether. You're like, no, what? So, and this was right around like the album was Stillmatic. It's one of the most.
Yeah.
Stillmatic had Got Yourself a Gun on there. I mean, it had one mic. So this shows you the mindset of what Nas at. But yeah, Nas Ether, man, was an amazing response to Takeover. And I mean, Nas got Pusha T kind of grimy on it and over a tight beat at that too.
The first words spoken on the record say it all.
Jay-Z.
Like, are you serious? Like, that set the tone for everything that was about to happen.
He said, well, whiskers like a rat compared to beans you whack. He said, you scared to smile as a baby, they called you ugly.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
that is ridiculous. Nas Ether was again.
Yeah.
This is within the come up of our hip hop realm. Nas Ether has to be. I mean, anything prior to like in the 80s, I mean, there's probably some harder stuff because I mean, depends on what you're talking about. I mean, like, but this right here, again, the Nas and Jay-Z beef was big because it was two huge stars at the time.
Right.
Kind of like Biggie and Pac, but these are two major New York icons.
Yep.
Queensbridge and it was Brooklyn. Where's Ho from? Brooklyn.
You're supposed to know.
Right, yeah, but it was Jay versus Nas, right? Marcy Projects versus Queen. There we go. But yeah, it was Jay and Nas, like two. It's like Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan when they fought at WrestleMania. Like the two good guys are supposed to fight each other. Like it's always babyface and heel, but nah.
Right.
But that was a good exercise. Where we at right here with?
Listen, Pac's first, like the intro, the beginning words to hit him up is enough to just say, well, oh, that's where this is at. You heard that, you played it back before you even got through the track, just like Ether, right? You heard the first eight bars. You was, I gotta rewind that again because I gotta hear that.
Every single one of these joints, if we're thinking about it, that's why it stands out. Like they don't take their time getting into it.
No, at all. It's that time of the show. Zach No Holds Bar. It's that time of the show. It's time for us to just eat. So, E, what we got this week, brother?
So before we do this, the fellas, we're privy to me having a little bit of time and getting some stuff put together. I want to tell everybody, thank you for all the FUs and all that good stuff. It drives me, you know what I'm saying, through this show, through this segment. I want y'all to be on the lookout for the lemon pepper wings or trash shirt that's gonna come out here real soon. We're gonna have a display for you, hopefully in the next, couple of weeks. The shirts will be on sale for sure. Hope you purchase some, you know what I'm saying? Because it's the truth anyway. But today's segment, I was gonna have props because you have to kind of visually get into this, right? But Is It Just E's segment this week is regular creamy peanut butter versus crunchy peanut butter. Now, understand this. There is no way in blue hell that I am ever eating crunchy peanut butter. Why? And let's just get this out here. There's some people out there that love it, whatever. That's your prerogative. But anything that you put this on is going to tear up the shit out of it. If you put it on bread, your damn bread starts to then crumble because now the peanuts are starting to catch on the damn bread. Put it on crackers, it's the consistency is off. Anybody who eats crunchy peanut butter is just, you might as well just eat peanuts and just call it a day. I really don't understand why they even made this a thing, but you know what?
CB, what's your take, bro?
So I'm gonna be upfront and honest. Like, I love peanut butter. Like, it is a vice. I'm one of those people that I'm like, you know what? I deserve a treat. I'm gonna get this spoon. I'm just gonna go into the container. But you know what I'm not doing it with is I'm not doing it with crunchy peanut butter, because he is right. That's like spreading like sandpaper across the bread. Like it's like it literally just tears it apart. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not like, if I go over to someone's house, they're offering to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, all they have is crunchy peanut butter, I'm still going to eat the sandwich. Like, you better believe that I will, because I do like peanut butter. That's what it is. But you better believe that if there's an option, I'm confused about why there's an option and why you have both.
Thanks, Sean. That is correct. Everybody who eats crunchy peanut butter should report to the nearest street and not move when cars come their way.
Absolutely. So look, I might as well take my black ass out and play in traffic, because I am a crunchy peanut butter fan. Now, they're both do reside in the household, but I am the go-to crunchy, and I've mastered the art of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with crunchy peanut butter, with both sides of the bread pasted in crunchy peanut butter, with a nice helping of either strawberry jelly or grape jelly in the middle of the sandwich.
I have to ask this question now. You said that
Thank you, Nelman. Exactly.
Do you guys have like special utensils or some shit? Like, how do you do this?
You clearly don't use a knife to put crunchy peanut butter on bread. I know this for a fact, right? You can't. There's no possible way you can do it. Secondly, I need you to answer a question for me. Please tell me that you do not have my niece and nephew eating crunchy peanut butter over there.
No.
Okay.
I mean, they probably tried it.
And they realized that there was something wrong with their dad.
The texture sometimes, I get, kids textured eaters. But look, let me tell you, I don't know. This is probably from moms. Moms is probably you get it from somebody, right? So I think she was the reason why I started liking crunchy. And look, I like peanut butter in general, but if I had my choice to get up and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or to have so many different things to it, but peanut butter and banana, I can be like Elvis. I'm going with the crunchy. It is what it is.
CB, this is your boy. This is your boy.
Oh my god.
This is your boy. Crunchy peanut butter?
Absolutely.
And he has both of them in the house. Like, what?
Absolutely.
How dare you?
The comments are killing me, yo. These comments are like, yo, come on, John. Drink lemon pepperade.
Chick-fil-A fries with no salt.
Exactly. Sean, you know exactly what it is. You know that.
Now,
listen,
I will say I have done that. Not my preference, but there's been a couple times they left the sauce out the bags. Or hell, if you keto, and the fries aren't keto anyway. But why not cut back on the buffalo ranch sauce? Amazing, whatever. But yeah, Chick-fil-A still not my number one fry. We already had that conversation. We already know what my number is.
Oh boy.
And then there was this. Yeah. All right. Welcome to For the Soul. CB, let's get into that soul swap.
So, as you guys are aware, our Soul Swap segment, we are going over, any news things that are going on in the sneaker world that we just want the We Are Something Else family to be in the know about. And this should hit close to home for pretty much everybody, because this is just letting everyone know that COVID and shit is still real. One of the big plants out in Vietnam that helps manufacture shoes for both Nike and Adidas has had to shut down. I think they said it was for at least 10 days. There had been 49 cases of COVID from the factory itself. So I don't know. I wasn't able to find any information on like whether they like have any projections for like any kind of impact that this would really have, like monetarily, on any of the companies. And it actually is more than just Adidas and Nike. They actually manufacture for a bunch. But it's just, I mean, it's a reminder that, there is still a lot of stuff going on in the world, and people still need to be safe out there. So this, when I came across this, when I was like, people need to hear about this, because it's, things are opening back up. People are out here either, unmasked because they got their shots, or unmasked because they're just lying. And like there's people still dying and shit. So we know that things are starting to get better. It seems like things are starting to get better, but you gotta keep your eyes open and see what else is still going on.
Yep. Wear the damn mask, because it's affecting my shoes coming in.
Right.
Or eventually will mess up my shoe pack mailings or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
This is very real. And it seems like this is what the Olympics is basing their decision off of, to go spectatorless too. And so if we get back to that realm of sports where there's no fans, I mean, I'm going to blame it on the assholes who think that COVID wasn't real, that kind of thing, because like, come on now. Like, we just getting, WWE will go live tomorrow with fans for the first time. I mean, it did WrestleMania, but it's like first like public kind of thing. SmackDown will have fans, and the feel is just different. So let's get our shit together. But yeah, when you start to affect my kicks,
don't be messing with my shoes.
Exactly. You got something?
Nope. You said what you need to say. You keep fucking with our shoes, it's gonna be a problem.
Right. What you got now, man? Gotta spray your damn shoes with Lysol. Exactly. Spray the box. Like, you gotta layer it down and spray, trying to get some COVID. Like, look, especially if I win this raffle tomorrow for these bronze, I want them on time. Like, they better not be affected by this shit. Right?
I mean, just look at the tag of your shoe and see how many of them say "Made in Vietnam," because I trust and believe that there's a number of them that do. It just goes to show, man, you just got to be doing what you got to do to be safe.
Yep. What we got for the copper drop, CB?
So another Dunk Low collaboration. This is with FTC. And what's dope about these is that, and actually this is also just kind of funny to me, they are taking inspiration from Japanese bathhouses. So like it's one of those things where a lot of shoes, and Dunk specifically, when they do these collaborations, they want to be able to tell a story, right? And so when FTC and Nike SB got together, this is, I guess, the story that they, decided that they wanted to tell. The materials are super dope, because it looks like there's a bunch of like suedes and just different materials. And obviously it's summertime, white baby blue combination. It's pretty much undefeated. So they're $110. There's going to be a sneakers draw on the 21st. So not this Friday, but is that next Friday? Something like that, or Monday or Tuesday, something, whatever it is. All we know is that these are probably going to be really hard to get. Probably going to get the sorry, your entry was not chosen. But if anyone out there doesn't want to enter into the sneakers draw, I wear a size 10 because these are a cop. These are a cop for me. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I would cop. I like the colorway, very summer-esque. The pictures don't do it any justice virtually.
Yeah,
I definitely like the combo. And then when we get into doing the Soul Tails, I got another little element, but what goes into how you style your shoe. But yeah, I definitely see myself trying to cop those.
Speaking of styling shoes, I'm still waiting for my shoestrings, but yeah, these are definitely a cop. Um, yeah, like you said, you can't go wrong with that colorway. For the summertime, I just
Yeah.
feel like it's too clean not to have almost. And to be honest, that yellow kind of that blue combination in itself, you can go so many ways with that. So
Get you
Yeah.
a old Nuggets jersey.
Yeah.
Get you a mellow Nuggets jersey. Go right with it. All right, shoe and tell. Any volunteers to first?
I'll
All
go.
right, yeah.
This is actually based upon I think on IG recently. This guy was just saying, he had showed a four, and he had ran his finger across the four because he had
Oh my
not worn
god.
his shoe,
Oof.
and
My goodness. Yes, yes.
um, it hurt me because I had previously a few shows back showed a four that I've worn, but you can't get away from the cracking of the bottom of the four just because
No
of the
matter
paint.
what. No matter what.
Um, but in honor of wearing your shoes, and when I say I wore the shit out of these,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I've worn these. Like you can tell that I put my foot in these motherfuckers, the dirty sole and everything. But these hoes was so hard that that's why I wore them so much because I felt like this. The white and red was definitely a summertime. I wore these shits with every damn black, white, and red jersey that was possible back then when they came out. So yeah, I still need to. Shoestrings are still pretty good. I just need to again this one that the sole rubber was different than what we've had before. So this wasn't a quick clean. You actually had to find a cleaner that would get this back to white, or it will change it a different color.
Yep.
No, I love the 14s. So, um, we got some Chucks, but these are some special Chucks
Yes,
because they're
sir.
black. Montclair Fragment.
Oh, I saw the email for those today.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
These
yeah.
joints are sick. They're way cozier than the old school. I don't even know how many pairs of Chucks I own, but the insoles on these are a little bit nicer than what all the
That Nike,
old school basketball players were running up and down the court in
exactly.
back in
It's
the
that
day.
Nike, that Nike sole that they finally put it in there.
Yeah, and it's like I think they got like some different materials on there, but yeah, these are pretty sturdy, and I feel like you just can't go wrong, man. Black and white, that combo's undefeated, and because getting fragment J's is impossible, at least I can get some Chucks. So
There you go.
Were those price decent?
160, I want to say, but they came with a drawstring bag, which it's like, not too many just regular sneaks coming with drawstring bags.
That's what takes them up to 160. You get that
Right, right. Because you better believe, I
You'll never
was
use.
like, yo, you can get like 3 pairs of Chucks for this price. But
You never even use that bag. It's there. It's like that the Jordan the towel that came with the I can't remember what number those was, but it was I'm like, I don't use it. The towel is still in the box with the shoe. I didn't use a suede brush, but I'm like,
it's
or
just part
it's
of
like
that presentation,
exactly. So Rwanda Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, this feels like this was meant to be. Everybody knows what that box is. We had a few unveilings with that box. Times Square pack. When I saw these, I didn't know what the hell they were on Cole's feet when he was with the Patriots, the Ronda Patriots. I was like, yo, that whatever the colorway that is dope. So and then, unbeknownst, the Times Square pack with the 3 different colors. This was the first one, the kind of infrared, orangish looking color. The blue just dropped, and then like the Volt is up next. But it's tribute to Cole's time in New York. That's where it came from. So yeah, but yeah, no. Where we at? While we're at it, look, DC Shot Pie. Big news coming out of DC Shot Pie, and I don't know a lot of you locals watch NBC4, but Grant was on. He did an interview a while back, and they finally posted the story today on NBC4 about his about DC Shot Pie. You know, which tomorrow is the soft opening of the new shop, which is based out of Marlboro Pike in Capitol Heights, Maryland. I will put the address up, but yeah, come out. I'm gonna try to make it out there tomorrow, um, just to show love and support the Grant for everything that he's done. But look, you can pre-order tonight to pick your pizza up tomorrow from the shop, and if you do, save yourself 10%. WRC10. That's our code right there. But yeah, tomorrow, I think up until 7. I think he may close. I heard 7, but it may be longer because it's soft open. But the grand opening is in August. We'll start promoing that soon. But yeah, tomorrow, the doors are officially open, so everybody can get their hands on a DC Shop Pie. Who wasn't privy going to the original spot, but now it's their first spot. So let's do it. Grant, shout out to Grant. He was on the show last week promoting all this stuff. So I think it was last week. But anyways, yeah. Fellas, great show. Want to thank everybody for watching. Like, subscribe if you haven't done that already. We're back next week.
Yeah.
Soul Tales is coming. Soul Tales is coming. Be on the lookout for that. That's all I really can think about. Listen to me and CB's single Asp. It's all the way out
On
there.
the way to Aspen.
Aspen's out there. Exactly. Shout out to Nelman. Thank you for watching, Nelman. Sean Xavier, my brother. Look, check out Hot Tea Podcast. New episodes drop every Thursday. Spotify, Apple, I believe anywhere you can.
Everywhere. We're everywhere
for sure. Yeah, wherever you check them out, and then check us out. We're on all platforms. But that's it, y'all. We have something else.
Peace.